Okay, Charles, Lisa, we are live.
Live.
Happy Friday, everyone.
Yeah, we are live, y'all. Friday, 7 p.m. Hopefully, everybody is having a good day so far. If you guys have any plans for this weekend, share them in the comment section. That'd be good to know. We could probably talk more about that too. But it's good to see all you guys, all your smiley faces. You guys got anything going on, Charles?
I'm just gonna be moving more stuff around at the house. I've been working on things for a while, and yeah, it's just mostly just housework. That's what I
So
got going.
so so
Nothing
where you gonna
special.
move that big black piano? Where you gonna move that to?
Man, I'm gonna move that into the mezzanine over there. I'm gonna make sure that put that over. I don't even know if that's what that is. Oh man.
What about you, Lisa? What are you doing this
So tomorrow
weekend?
is the Mid-Autumn Festival for us at the Vietnamese church. So we were volunteering there today or
Mm,
tomorrow. Yeah,
tomorrow, all day event.
it's not an all-day event, but when there is an event, there's a lot of work behind the scenes. So CJ is in charge of that. My son, he's pretty great with that, and so we're just helping him take care of all the setup and everything like that.
Okay, that sounds fun.
Yeah,
I
we
know.
hope so.
Last week we went to a early mid autumn festival too. And we saw Lisa and them over there. It was really nice. My daughter was Hmong dancing, so that was pretty cool.
She was
So
fantastic.
yeah, man. It's funny because we never thought she would be into it, but then the moment she started doing it, it's like she fell in love with it. So I'm glad.
Yeah, that's a really wonderful thing. My son was the exact same way, Chia. We didn't push him into it, but he just fell in love with the community, and now he's
Mm,
just like the leader there. He gets the sponsorships and everything like that, just so that they can have that time and have that cultural. Um, it's a really historical thing for us, and I think our youth are slowly migrating away from that, and for them to actually want to know more about their culture is a beautiful thing.
yeah, I was shocked too. So I'm glad. So I'm just trying to be as supportive as I can right now, taking her to all her dance practices, which
It's
she's
so
at
far.
right now. It's
Yeah.
so much work. Oh Lord. So yeah, it's been fun. But okay. Um, let me go ahead and I am getting an error. Is my internet slow, y'all? Do you guys notice anything?
I'm
Mm-mm.
not noticing nothing.
Okay, you're not noticing anything? Yeah, it's saying that I'm having trouble connecting. Hmm. Hopefully not. If anybody's watching, let us know how the internet is. Are we laggy? Are we choppy? Are we buffing? Is the sound okay? What is going on? I'm double checking on the phone and it says that we're okay. So all right. Well, let me just go ahead and do my market update before we talk about today's topic. We got a lot of things to talk about, y'all. There's a lot on today's agenda, but most mostly we're just gonna chill. So if you guys have any comments, anything like that, just ask away in the comment section, and we would answer them accordingly. Okay, even if it has nothing to do with real estate, home inspections, or loans, just ask away. Okay, but okay, let me go ahead and share my screen. There is a lovely chart everybody wants and loves to see. Let's go down. Okay, inventory went up slightly, 1% from last week. New listings are down. They're less by 18%. Sold homes are also down 26%. Pending homes are down 6% from last week. Okay. Mm. Comparing to last month, inventory is up almost 6%. That's good to see. New listings are down 20%. Sold homes are down 23%. Pending homes are down 11%. Man, I feel like in inventory is going up, yes, but everything else is going down. New
Mhm.
listing has a lot to do with inventory, okay, Chichi fams. And I feel like because the rates have been climbing the way it is, man, I think that has a lot to do with people canceling. And then now that cancellation is back into the inventory. That's why I think inventory is going up, as you see here, because people are canceling. And I am seeing that. Okay. So that's why these are all down. That's not going to help with the supply and demand. Okay, let's compare same time last year. Inventory is down by 45%. Man, that is crazy. New listing is down 30% from last year. Sold homes are down 35% from last year. Pending homes are down 15% from last year. And year to date, inventory is down compared to last year by 45%. New listings are down 36%. Sold homes are down 30%. Pending homes are down 25% year to date compared to last year. Okay. We have a question. Steven says, is this the normal fourth quarter blues or more to do with rates? Fourth quarter blues. Do you guys want to know what he means by that, y'all?
I'm assuming it's like the slowdown because usually fourth quarter is the slowest time for real
Oh,
estate. So I'm assuming that's the case. If I'm wrong, Stephen, please correct me.
it's funny
Um,
because when he mentioned blue, it made me automatically thought of red, the opposite, and it made me thought of Politico. Because
that makes
there's a
sense.
blue, there's a blue team and the red team. Like, it just got me thinking about Politico. I'm like, okay, that's definitely not what he was talking about. It's probably more what you referring to, Lisa.
I don't know, Stephen, correct us if we're wrong, right?
Okay, yeah. Steven said yes. That's what I mean.
Okay,
So,
good.
what you referring to? Okay, so yes, fall is here. Summer's over. So normally when fall starts and it goes more towards winter, I always tell my clients this is kind of the better time to buy a home because there's less competition. Sellers that are selling have to sell. So they're going to be a little bit more accommodating. They're going to be more giving you more incentives, especially new builds. Man, new builds, they start ending their books in November. So right now is like the best time to, if you're going that route, like new builds is giving you like the best incentives around this time of the year because they got to close their books like in a month. So I think so, Steven, fourth quarter blues. That's why. And I think to do with rates, what do you think, Lisa?
It's always going to have to do something with rates, right? But as you guys can see, it's like people didn't stop buying because the rates went up. People acknowledge that, hey, if my finances are a certain way and I continue to contribute to somebody else's mortgage and it's not going to even benefit me, it's going to keep going up. Just like rent is just continue to going up. I think what typically happens is when rates start to go up, as you guys have seen the trend in the last 2 years already, inventory is still significantly low. The
I
numbers of
just showed
buyers
you
have
guys.
decreased, but the numbers of homes being sold decreased even further, which causes that inventory, that supply and demand still working against buyers. So yes, rates will go up. They're probably going to go up a little bit more. They already went up again this week.
Gosh.
It kind of stopped a little bit today, okay? And historically, usually on Fridays, because we don't know what's going to happen the next week, usually Fridays is the higher rate. Yesterday was higher. Yesterday, the average was 7.5 for a 30-year fix. Today, actually, the average is 7.44, so it went down just slightly. And it's going to continue to do that. So for all of you guys that are still, again, on the fence, don't look at it just as the rate. Look at your situation and really say, hey, okay, for a little bit more, if I put $500 more in my mortgage than what I'm paying for my rent, is it still worth it? So ask yourself, hey, if you put your money, $500 every single month, where is it going to earn you more equity or more interest later on? And if your mortgage increase, could you rent out an extra room? Could you get an ADU? Could you convert your garage? Could you be creative so
Mm.
that it works in your best benefit? You couldn't do that. None of that. All of that would be a no if you were renting.
Yeah, like me and Lisa has a client that was super like excited about coming back and buying, right? And then rates went up so fast this past couple of weeks, and
Yeah.
she's like questioning whether or not she should buy anymore because like affordability is going down and then her purchasing power is going down. So the same home we saw last week, the payment is significantly higher now, and so she can't even look at the same quality home anymore.
Yeah.
I think you know who I'm talking about, Lisa.
I do, and that's the thing. The sad thing is, we're here as not just realtors and not as loan officers, but really, truly, your cheerleader and your coach to root you guys on for success, right? And a lot of times, when you're stepping over dollars just to pick up pennies, like, well, I'm going to wait for the rate. I'm going to wait for this. You just missed out on $50,000 worth of equity.
I know, and this client's been with us for
It makes us sad.
several years. Whenever I see them, like they're always saying, Chia, I should have bought last year. But things happen. We understand that. And again, it's your time. It's your
Yeah.
time. It's nobody else's time. It's your time. Okay. So whatever you feel works, we're gonna go at your pace. I mean, we have no other choice, like don't ever feel obligated if somebody's pulling like a gun to your head saying you better buy right now. Like
Right.
so hopefully we don't ever have anybody feeling like that right now at all. Chang says, I want to buy, rates be nice. You always buying, bro. What are you talking about, man? He's in Fresno though, see, different market. Okay, let me go back and share my screen so we can finish this market update. Average price per square foot went up from last week 2%. Last month, barely 1% change. But from last year, went up 3%, y'all. Average price per square foot. But year to date, it is down 4.9% compared to last year. Okay, that's average price per square foot. It goes on days on the market. 24 days. It went up a little bit by 2 days compared to last week. It was 22 days. 98% of sellers are getting what they're asking for if they price it correctly, market it correctly, and, prepared it well. 98% of sellers are getting that. Last month, there's no change. Average days on the market is still 23 days on average, month to month. 99% of sellers are getting what they're asking for. And comparing days on the market to last year, see, last year, same time, 32 days last year. This year is 23 days. What does this tell you? It tells you that it's still technically pretty aggressive. The demand is still there. That's why it's 23 days on average, a lot lower than last year. Okay. 99% of sellers are getting what they're asking for comparing to last year, which is 96%. Year to date, right now, it's 32 days on average versus 19 days on average last year. Okay. 99% of sellers are getting what they're asking for year to date comparing to last year. 101. Okay, let's go. Average price sold and for sale. Active price right now went down from last week by 1.5%. Sold price is up by 0.7%. Now, last month, sold price is up 0.5%. So $606,000 on average. Active is 730, so it is down from here. Okay, so I kind of want to clarify something about this because a lot of you guys are confused about this. Why is it such a high jump? It's because the homes last year, majority of the homes last month, majority of homes last month, the average inventory active price was about 1.3 mil. That was on the market. Okay, this is Sac County, by the way. Okay, if I didn't mention that already, I apologize, but this is just only in Sac County. Active last month on average inventory was 1.3 mil. This month is 730,000. What does that mean? That tells me a lot of those 1.3 mils or anything over, they're getting removed off the market. That's what it's telling me. That's why you see a big
Mhm.
change right here. That
Well,
doesn't
that
mean
makes
that doesn't mean that sellers are reducing the price or so. It just means that okay, yeah, they're probably removing it. For it to be that high of a jump, um, people are removing their homes off the market because it's not selling. That's why you see that big change. Okay. Hopefully that makes
Mhm.
sense. If it doesn't, comment below. I'll answer you specifically. Okay, so last year, same time, active price was 730,000 this year, this month versus last year it was 666,000. So it is now up 9.6%. Sold price is also up by 6% comparing to last year. Year to date, active price is up 9.6%, but sold price is down 3.6%. Now, if you guys have to compare and use this data as like a guideline, right, for today's market, I would use the month as like micro data, and then this the year to date as macro. Okay, because remember, this is all the way from January till September. This is just month to month. Okay, so that's how I would use this data to to better inform your decision when it comes to buying or selling. Okay, does that make sense, y'all? Makes sense, right, Lisa?
Mhm. Mhm.
Okay, cool. Now that's that. Let's go to month worth of inventory. This is normally the biggest indicator. Hmm, no change. Well, it did go up a little bit. Never mind. 1.7 versus 1.2. But that's still not enough to change the market direction. Okay, everybody? It's still a seller's market. When it becomes a buyer's market, you guys are going to hear it first. I'm going to tell all y'all, okay? But right now, it is still a seller's market because you guys are still asking me, is it a buyer's market? You guys are noticing more homes on the market. No, it is still a seller's market. Look at the data, okay? And then comparing to last year, there was more inventory last year. So this year's inventory is 40% less than last year. Year to date, this year is less by 22% versus last year. And that is the market update. Questions, Lisa, Charles? Y'all good? Y'all don't want to add
Mhm.
anything? Did you want to share
I don't
your
know.
screen, Lisa, and go over rates?
Absolutely. Okay, so let me go ahead and share it today.
While you're doing that, Chang says, how are you getting your offers accepted? Um, so I'll tell you exactly what I do for all my clients. Okay, Chang? If my buyer wants to submit an offer on a home, I always look up comps. That's the first thing, duh. Second thing I do is I call the listing agent or the seller, whoever's in charge of communications, to find out if there's other offers, any competition. And this is the time when like you kind of try to read their bluff because sometimes they can lie about it. So I try to see if they're telling me the truth or not, because sometimes they can be like, "Oh yeah, I got multiple offers. Be Say your best and highest." They might be lying. I don't know, right? So from there, I try to gauge it out of their bluffing, and then that helps me gauge whether or not that home is gonna get multiple bids or not. And then I always go back to my buyer next to let them know how aggressive they want to be. But before I ask that, I always ask first, how much do they like the home? Do they really, really like the home? If they really do like the home, then it changes the strategy, right? How aggressive do they want to be? You know, because sometimes buyers might like a home, but they don't like it enough to where they feel comfortable being aggressive. And then When I say aggressive, I'm talking about removing contingencies, shortening contingency time frames, shortening escrows, giving a higher deposit, going over asking, covering the difference if appraisal comes back lower, like things like that. Pretty aggressive stuff. But it all depends on the client, on what they want to do and how much they want the home. But in today's market, a lot of offers are not that aggressive, like how we've been seeing the past year or so. Sellers are giving them closing cost credits to do buy downs because they know interest rates high and they know they have to offer that to be able to sell their home in this kind of market, where a lot of the buyers are now pushed out from the market. So yeah, that's how I've been getting my offers accepted. You just heard the whole blueprint of how I operate, Ching. Hope that helps. Oh, you ready to add your screen, Lisa?
Absolutely. Yeah.
I see it.
Giving up all your insider information. What are you doing?
Yeah.
I do
Okay,
that every week whenever we go live, Charles.
Oh, I remember from last week, man. I know how to sell your own house. Come on, man.
Go ahead, Lisa.
All right, guys. We ended up the week today at 30-year fix again. It's average at 7.44, 15 years at 6.75. Jumbo is actually higher now. It's 7.55. And here's the reason why I don't do ARMs just yet, unless you're in the Bay Area, and it does make a difference. Okay, when you're buying $1 million properties, it's at 7.05. 30-year for FHA. The difference between FHA and 30-year fix is a little bit more, okay, but it's right there, 6.9. VA is slightly higher, so that's what we're looking at today, guys. Okay.
Why are jumbo loans so high?
It's a risk factor. It's a risk factor. So as you mentioned earlier, this is a really, really key thing. Earlier you mentioned last month we had a lot more in Sacramento, which 7-figure properties are very common in the Bay Area. Not as common here. It's getting more common in the Elk Grove neighborhoods and the Thomas neighborhoods and things like that. But it's not like that unusual. You can still find houses for a significantly lower price point than that. But you mentioned earlier where the people who are selling the $1 million properties, there's not going to be as many people who can afford those $1 million properties, especially with these rates here. And because of that, okay, it's going to make it a little bit more risky. Sometimes there are banks in the Bay Area that will allow for a much more favorable for jumbo loans, just because, again, it's more popular.
You might want to check the connection settings in the Google Home app.
Sorry, guys. Looks like my my Google just picked up whatever.
Who do you have in your room with you, Lisa? Who do you have?
Probably let's take that out. Yeah, but that's the reason why, guys, the bond market is actually doing pretty well right now. And even though the Fed stated that they're going to, keep everything a little bit more even keel, as you can see, their version of even keel is a little bit different than what we're seeing as consumers for even keel. So definitely be on the lookout for that. Earlier, you also mentioned that escrow periods are a little bit longer. Here's the thing. If you guys are in contract, do not gamble with your rates right now. Lock it in as soon as you can. Listen to your loan officer, okay? I've had a deal this week that I was supposed to save, but the thing is, they didn't lock it when I say, hey, I understand that I may not be your lender right now because you had to go into the builder and do that, and they're giving these incentives regardless of which. Go ahead and lock it. And they didn't. And it went up another 0.5% in one day. This week, guys, it went up 0.5% on Tuesday. And unfortunately, they're on the cusp of not qualifying. So now they're actually waiting even further. I was like, oh, geez, I really hope that you're going to get this home. But at the same time,
do I know these people, Lisa? Do I know these people?
No, I don't think you do. I don't think you do. I think our people are really, really good about listening to us. We set the expectations for them ahead of time. It's like, hey, as soon as you get into escrow, okay, as soon as I get the title and escrow fees, we're going to lock in that rate right now. We're not going to gamble.
Yeah.
And luckily, so far, I haven't been wrong, which it's a double-edged sword because I want to be, guys. I want the rates to lower. I want, the rates to be nicer, like Chang said. But
Yeah.
while we're waiting for that, and I think the 2-1 strategy, the buy downs, if you are buying down your rates, it's a great way to save you that trouble right now too. Just be very, very careful when you're doing a 2-1 or a 3-2-1 buy down. Understand that if the rates aren't favorable to you, I know that old thing is around date the rate, marry the house. No, don't do that. Make sure that in the worst case scenario, you're still budgeting for that larger amount. And if you're saving on the first 3 years, the first 2 years, the first year, if you're doing those types of buy downs, take that money, put it in a savings account. There's a lot of accounts right now that are giving good interest right now to earn that. So by the time your 3-2-1 is up and everything like that, and refinancing is not favorable to you, you had saved all that money and prepare for that to happen, and it'll give you a little bit more of a cushion.
So, Lisa, going back to the rates about jumbo loans, what is considered a jumbo loan? What is the amount?
It depends. So there's a difference in every single market, Chia. So let me go ahead and look up just Sacramento here. Okay.
Cool. I'm asking because maybe some people might be like, what the heck is a jumbo loan? How come my lender didn't give me a jumbo loan?
You don't want a jumbo loan.
It sounds cooler than FHA or conventional.
Jumbo loans usually require for you to put at least 20 to 30% down, depending on the lender. Okay. And it requires for you to have reserves as well. Okay, guys, which means depending on the lender, sometimes you have to have at least 6 months worth of reserves, 12 months worth of reserves. And what that means is not only the lender wants to protect themselves, right? You have skin in the game. You also have to have extra cushion just in case there's a job shift, you get laid off, and we'll talk about that later too, that you have enough to cushion you so that it's less risky for the lender. So let me go ahead and look this up for you guys. Okay.
Charles, what does your shirt say?
Carhartt.
Carhartt. What the heck is Carhartt?
So basically, it's a clothing maker for like construction.
For constructions.
Yeah.
You plan on getting into construction anytime soon, bro?
I love home inspections.
Okay, I'm going to share you guys a screen, okay? So you guys can look at this.
Share it.
Okay.
Did you already share?
So
Okay,
just
there.
read,
It's coming
okay?
through. Hold on.
Put in Sacramento County, okay, guys?
There it goes.
And this is the conforming loan limit, which means anything above that, if you're purchasing a house that you need a loan that's above the county loan limit, it's considered a jumbo loan. So here in Sacramento County, it's $763,600. Let's go ahead and put in the Bay Area 95148, and you can see jumbo above that amount. Okay, 1.8300. All right, guys.
Good to know. If you guys are buying in the Bay Area, you have an opportunity to still use FHA without being considered jumbo.
You can, but 2.5% down, it's probably a jumbo because the average home price is, which area in the Bay Area and San Jose, it's at 1.2 something right now. So
yeah,
if you
it is
putting at least 20% down, you probably, 3.5%, it's going to go into that amount, and it's going to require you to put more down.
I just find it absolutely crazy. I mean, I know that every area has different rates and all that. Man, it is crazy how different the pricing is. Because, when we did inspections in the Bay Area, at my previous employer, it was so crazy difference, right? Like, it would be just like a 1,500 square foot house would be well over $1 million in an area that, I don't know if it matters, whatever the case is. It's just crazy to me, like $1,500 or $1,500
location.
Yeah, And then, meanwhile, you got lots of other states that you buy a house that's the same for, like maybe, 200,000. That's crazy.
Location, bro.
Absolutely. There's a reason why it's that high, right?
Yeah, there is a reason. So that's why.
And we're climbing ourselves here because of it.
We are just because all those people are coming here. But then, like, I think to like the average person that just wants a home that's in the okay area for their family, and then they could still do their daily livelihoods, like some of those average people don't mind living on the outskirts, so to where it gets a little bit more affordable and it's probably 30 minutes or 45 minutes away. Like for right now, right? We have clients
Mhm.
that wants to live in Sacramento or Natomas, but it's so expensive, they're looking in Plumas,
Mhm.
like things like that. So, and homes over there are nice. Area over there are nice. It's just you're gonna have to sacrifice your drive time to come back to work now. And so that's something that a lot of families are doing right now is they're telling themselves, I'm gonna have to sacrifice my drive time now so I could find a home that I love and it's affordable. So
Yeah. I mean, we
all
mentioned
right.
that earlier too. I mean, a lot of the people going not just to Plumas, but they're going to Redding, they're going to Oroville, they're actually even going to Fresno too. A lot of my clients are actually going to Fresno. I've been doing more loans in Fresno than I have been in Sacramento, actually.
Maybe you might see Ching over there soon. Ching Ching buys home a lot in Fresno. Yeah, so maybe you might talk to Ching pretty soon.
Actually, like I haven't been to Fresno in so long. I was in Fresno when I was a kid. We're talking about 30 years ago, okay? And I was
Yeah.
like, it's really really increasing down there. So I'd like to take a visit myself, see what's going on, see any
Yeah, they got
investment.
new developments. See, Ching says, I'm keeping you in mind. He's in Fresno. So okay, so I wanted you to share more about Lisa, this to you. I wanted you to
Yeah.
share more about escrow accounts, escrows and
Okay.
impound. Because we have a client, right, that reached out to us recently and she was kind of confused or lost or she forgot if we talked about this when she was buying a home and it was about escrows and impound. And I know we talked about it, but same thing I told her when this is not a area or an industry where you're practicing and it's your livelihood, you're gonna forget these
Mhm.
things because it's so much. Kind of like supplemental taxes, right? We tell our clients all the time at the signing table, hey, look, you're gonna get a lot of solicitation mails saying if you want your deed, pay us $90, we'll send it to you. Those are crap because your deed's already on the way and they know that, right? So they forget about that. So like this is just another thing we want to bring it back up again and talk more about it because I think we don't talk about it enough and it is important, because especially if you like pay your mortgage with the insurance and your escrow and all that, it all gets collected every month and then every 6 months or so it gets automatically distributed to pay your taxes, your home insurance, etc. So I think a lot of first time home buyers are not familiar with that. So can you talk more about that?
Absolutely, Chula. And while you're talking about that, I'm gonna go ahead and pull out a chart. I think it's a little bit easier for people to see why that takes place. Give me just a moment. Let me pull it up, guys.
While she's pulling that up, I do also like to add that if you bought a home, let's say 2 years ago, right? And you were used to paying a certain amount every month, if you decide to like, let's say, get upgrades on your home or like decided, oh, what's that noise?
Oh, sorry, I was scratching something on my desk.
Oh, I'm like, oh, that was very loud. I was like, oh, what is that coming from? But anyways, um, yeah. So if you guys bought your home like a few years ago, and then now recently you guys just gotten like upgrades done to the home, and then that contractor was able to like put the amount on like your liens or I mean on your tax or anything like that, your escrow account's gonna be short at the end of the year. Okay, so be mindful that that's how that works. And some solar companies do this too. They attach it to your tax and you forget about it because that was done like a year ago and they forgot to notify you, and then now you receive a bill saying, hey, your escrow short like $600. You're gonna be like, what the heck? Why does it short? I thought it gets taken out every month. You're gonna call me up. You're gonna call Lisa. You're gonna call Charles up. You're gonna be like, hey, why did my escrow account go up? I thought it doesn't change. Didn't I get fixed rate? You did get fixed rate, but your escrow went up because you probably got upgrades done and you forgot that on the dotted line they're adding it to your escrow account, and you forgot to tell your mortgage company that they need to increase your impound amount, so that way it doesn't come up short at the end of the year. That's probably what's going on,
Yeah.
right, Lisa?
I agree.
All right.
Okay.
I have a
Whenever
question
you're-
too, Lisa. When let's say you have all that built into that account and it's coming out, and then for some reason there's an increase on taxes, does your mortgage company automatically make a change to your mortgage cost, or do you just get a
That
bill
one
like
they-
that?
That one they do, but they're sometimes delayed. Okay, guys. So let me go ahead and share you guys my screen. Okay, whenever you're ready. And let me know whether or not it's big enough to see.
It's big enough.
Okay, good. So I'm just going to use this one example. Okay, somebody's buying a $500,000 house, 5% down. This was the rate. Okay, so what it means when you're talking about an impound or an escrow account, not to be confused with the escrow period, because we throw in these words escrow, but it means different things.
I heard that.
Right?
It's ending in 21 days. Yes.
Yes. And I was like, I don't get it. So when you're in escrow, which means the seller has accepted the offer that you made, that's called the in escrow period. Again, not to be confused with an escrow account. What an escrow or an impound, it's the same. Okay, guys, escrow or impound is the same. It means your property tax, instead of you paying twice a year, because this is how typically your property taxes are done. They're due twice a year. Okay, you get this one big bill. You can either wait for the one big bill and pay it, or you can add it into your mortgage. Now, most lenders, if not all lenders, if you're putting less than 10% down, because there's two entities that can actually foreclose on you. That's the lender and Uncle Sam. So because you're putting less skin in the game, when you're putting less down payment, the lender has a requirement typically that you have to have an escrow or an impound account, because they don't want Uncle Sam to foreclose, because they're going to be SOL if Uncle Sam gets to foreclose your house before they get to foreclose your house. Okay, so what that means is, even though it is broken down on a monthly basis, an escrow account is basically a forced savings account. So when the time comes that your home insurance and your property taxes due, they will pay that on your behalf. Do they always do it? I've had it 2 times where the lender, for some reason, just overlooked that. And then this person accrued fees and so on and so forth. The lender is required to pay for those fees if it's on their mistake. So it's kind of nice that if they make a mistake, they're going to most likely pay for that for you guys. Okay. So you either, in the event that you don't have an escrow account, this is what your monthly principal and interest amount is. This is what your property tax is to save up and everything. Okay. When you first purchase your house, okay, there's a lot of times where the county hasn't, caught up with what your actual property tax is, and you're going to be billed on what the seller, the last person that owned the home, okay, what their property tax is. So you're going to get a supplemental tax bill. Watch out for that. It will say, it looks exactly the same as your regular property tax, but it will say supplemental tax. If you're buying a brand new build, the variance is going to be much, much greater, because the builder's property tax is taxed only on the land they bought it on. So there's going to be a much greater, most of the time you're buying a brand new build, that supplemental tax bills is going to be in the thousands, not the hundreds. Okay. If you're buying an existing home, it's usually just in the hundreds. That's a difference. When you have a supplemental tax bill, the lender, if you have an impound or escrow account, will not know that, because the county does not mail that bill to them. Okay. So it is up to you to be very, very cognizant of that. Once you get that and everything, you can contact your lender and say, hey, do I have enough in my escrow account, my forced savings account, to pay for this? If not, then you do have to pay for it on your own. Okay. I hope that makes sense.
Well, Lisa, I actually learned about that from a real estate friend of mine. So basically, if you're buying a new build, and that's the thing, right? So the taxes is on the land. And so if you're buying a $800,000 new build, you're going to get a huge supplemental tax bill. And then buyers need to know about that. Like that, there's something that happens when you buy those new builds. You have to know that, right? And not everybody is told that. And then all of a sudden they get this bill in the mail, and they're just, oh my goodness, what is this, right? And
Yeah, they
that
call
is something
you, they
that's
call me, and they call Lisa.
yeah. I mean, I had no idea that that was the case, and like I said, it's great to have all of that information. And again, without the proper representation, you're gonna be in for a wallop on that.
So just to add to that, right? I think for the past couple years, everybody's home's been getting reassessed.
Yes. Even if it's existing, you guys, even if it's existing, Uncle Sam wants a piece of that, okay? And it's
So everybody, so supplemental tax is almost supposed to be a one-time thing, right? When you take ownership,
Mhm.
and now it's happening every year for the
Correct,
past
correct.
few years.
And remember how I said sometimes the lender hasn't caught up on that, right? They haven't caught up on that. And they'll send you a letter saying, hey, we just reevaluated the property tax. We just reevaluated your home insurance. And now that it has increased, okay, it increased 4 months ago, but we didn't collect. So what we're going to do is we're going to divide those monthly payments in, X amount of months for you to make it a little bit easier. We're going to add another $50 into your monthly payment. So be very, very careful of that, guys. Okay. Know that when you're qualified and you take out the maximum that you could qualify for, and truly, if you're paycheck to paycheck during that time already, it is going to be a little bit tougher if you know that you have a type of job that usually doesn't give high enough bonuses to cushion for life circumstances. And right now, even not just with property tax, home insurance are increasing higher than property
Oh
tax,
Lord.
unfortunately. Okay, so make sure you have that readily available. Don't max out what you qualify for. Always have a little bit of a cushion for these changes. This is really, really important. I'm really glad that we're talking about this today so that you guys as a consumer know ahead of time.
It's funny. Henry is saying
Hmm.
it's all about servicing fees. That's all. Everybody wants a piece of your dollar. Of course, everybody wants a piece of our dollar. This
Yeah.
it's how the world goes around, and unfortunately, not many people uh think about things like this until it's already too late. Like what Lisa was saying, if you know you're saving money because of that 3-to-1 buy down rate option that you're going for, maybe instead of spending that money, put that money that you're saving those first few years on the side. And then when the time comes, if the rate still is not in your best interest to refinance out, then you could use that portion to possibly do something with the mortgage at that time, and buy it down again or do something with it. But don't handicap yourself by not preparing. We're telling you guys all this right now so that you could be prepared and it's not going to be a shocker. Kind of like this impound account, these taxes, when it goes up, it's going to go up. And
Yeah.
property prices has been going up year by year, so that's why they are purposely reassessing it every year. So even as a homeowner, your taxes are going up every year. Like me and Lisa get client calling us during time of tax, and they're like, "My bill went over. I thought you said it's fixed. Like, what's going on? It's your property tax or your home
Yeah.
insurance. Home insurance is crazy. We have a hint future live show. We have an insurance rep that's coming on the show one of these days to talk about why it's been going so cuckoo right now for a lot of people. So yeah, we're not gonna steal the thunder from that person. All right, but okay, that is that. Let's talk about the next topic. Minimum wage is going up, y'all. How do y'all
So let's
feel about that, Charles?
ask the audience first. Audience, how do you guys feel about that before we say anything?
Yeah, Chichi fan, how do you guys feel about minimum wage going up? How do y'all feel about minimum wage going up? I would love to hear y'all thoughts in the comment section. We have our own opinion. I have my opinion about that. Lisa has hers. Charles, he has his. We were kind of talking about this pre-show, but we kind of want to bring the audience in on this. We would love to see y'all thoughts. How do y'all feel about the minimum wage Going
Nobody? That
up.
means it's really still very controversial, isn't it?
It can be, you never know who's listening. You never know who's watching. Could be
Yeah.
offended by it, could be, like everybody has their own preference about it, like maybe I could share, how I feel about it. I mean, it's the same as when everybody was asking for those stimulus checks, right?
Yeah.
Now we're paying for it, Now we're paying for
Not
it.
free.
Everything is, huh?
It's not free.
Yeah, it ain't free. Nothing is free,
Yep.
y'all, especially if it's coming from the government. But anyways, oh, Steven says my wife got an 80% raise, 80-cent raise, but some people in the cafeteria went from $10 to $15. Yes, Steven, man. Your wife's getting a raise, but everything around you guys is going up more than 80 cents. Man, gas right now in Sacramento is what, $6.50 for like 87. Man, it's so crazy. Steven, he's in the Midwest. Steven Coop. They're not from California, so they're hearing us saying $6 a gallon over there. Like, ha ha ha, ours is like $3.
Yeah. You're right about
Man,
that,
it's
Steve. Middle class is shrinking. The disparity,
Mhm.
I mean, there used to be 3 tiers in each class category, right? And then a little bit more when you dig a little bit deeper into it. And for me, I'm not against minimum wage going up. I think it's great. I think it's great that it should go up, but I think that everybody else's wages should go up. Just like Steven said earlier, his wife got an 80-cent raise, whereas people who started from the beginning are getting a $5 raise. That's a huge disparity. Okay. And the
yeah.
people like Steven's wife who are getting more groceries for their family, they were using consumer goods to pump up the economy. Now, us in the middle class spectrum, we're penny pinching. We're budgeting a lot more so than we normally would because we no longer can afford the goods that allow for people to have minimum wage, right? Because as minimum wage goes up, the cost of goods goes up, but everybody else that was buying these goods to begin with can't afford it anymore. Then what will happen?
I feel like to the people, like in this case, Steven's wife, right, getting that 80-cent raise, but everybody else getting like a $5 raise. I don't know how long she's been in that, but then if I was that person that got an 80-cent raise, but I saw that everybody got a $5 raise, I would feel like, man, like I've been here all this time. I work really, really hard, and then I only got that raise, and not everybody caught up to me, and they just came into the corporate office. And
Yeah.
they caught up to me. So my experience, my seniority, like means nothing now, and I think a lot of people feel this way, and that's why within the last couple of years there's been so many new businesses,
Yeah.
right? Because everybody is tired of it, and they decide, you know what, I'm just gonna go start my own business. Screw this corporate job, because everybody's came straight out of college and they got the same pay as me, and I've been here for like 10 plus years. Oh, Steven says his wife's been a nurse for 15 years.
And I'm
Yeah,
pretty sure she
man.
deserves way more than 80 cents. Okay. Thank you,
Yeah.
Stephen, for your wife being a healthcare hero, especially during these times and everything.
Oof.
And that's a frustrating thing. That is very, very frustrating for people who have worked so hard to have a nursing degree, to have some sort of a degree, to have a slap in the face and say, hey, I'm not worth it. Not to say that people who work in fast food industries are not worth it. Everybody is, guys. Everybody is. And
It's a
unfortunately,
political thing.
it is. It is. If you're
Minimum
going to
wage
pump up,
going up, it's a political thing.
yeah, of course,
Yeah,
right?
it is.
And it's
Henry,
heartbreaking, is what it is. It's heartbreaking. And here's how that's going to affect real estate, guys. Yes, Henry, it can be a very profitable time to be in real estate if you do utilize creative financing. And there's so many other ways to do this. So that's why when I mentioned earlier, don't step over dollars to pick up pennies. There's so many ways to do real estate. And if you utilize what you have, utilize what you guys can get approved for and everything like that, and maximize that and do every other creative way, you can really, really still succeed. The most successful real estate portfolios happened during the downfall of the market. right?
Henry, like, yeah, it can be pretty profitable as a to be in real estate, right? But
Mm-hmm.
a lot of agents are leaving the industry.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of agents are leaving the industry. Like, man, I think we talked about the data a few shows ago, right, Lisa?
Yep.
So many agents are leaving the industry because they're going back to their 9 to 5s.
Yeah.
Because it's a tough time right now to be even a sales agent. So yeah, but it is it can be profitable, but then like what you said right there, creative financing, there's a lot of people offering that. If you know how to structure a creative financing technique with the owners or anything like that, and you're a real estate investor, you could come up on top to create a win-win situation for the owners and yourself.
Right.
So yeah.
Right. And a lot of times you don't even need the banks for that, guys. So yeah, that's a great
Mhm.
idea.
Steve
And
says, "Yeah, you're right. She's gonna quit and join me as an entrepreneur." Yeah, man. She should. I thought that she was already doing it with you, Mecca. You are huge on social media.
mhm.
Yeah, Stephen Koo, I think he's a real estate investor. But yeah, dude, your wife needs to join you quick. She can stage your homes for you, man. Your flips. Stage your home for you, and then y'all could sell it, for more. Like
Well,
what
I mean,
like what Tu and Nali does. Tu and
yep.
Nali Fang. You guys don't know them, but Steven knows who I'm referring to.
When we're talking about real estate, usually Chia and I we talk about residential real estate, but there's so many commercial real estate that's happening right now too, and even for nurses out there, open your own spa clinic and everything. There's so many things that nurses can do that a regular spa cannot do. Flip that.
Or buy another business, make it good, flip it for a profit.
Hmm.
Oh, she's full time now. She's been dreading it. I'm a bad boss. You're not. It's not that you're a bad boss. It's that you guys are familiar with each other. That's
Yeah.
the struggle of a power couple being in the same business.
Don't worry, Stephen. Husband thinks I'm a terrible boss to him too. So
Charles, how do you feel about minimum wage going up?
I just feel like it's just going to continue to increase the prices of everything. I just saw that it just popped up on my little news reader thing over here that Newsom's going to change the minimum wage to $20 for
Wait,
fast
while
food
we were
workers.
talking, it showed up on your phone?
Nah, it was earlier last night
Oh,
or this
okay.
morning, and that's why when
I
you
was gonna
said that, I try to avoid watching the news because there's just a lot of a lot of it is sensationalist and whatnot. It's like you need to get your information from certain places, and sometimes when things pop up on this thing, I'm just like, oh, that's crazy, and then I can look
See?
into it a little bit more. But I just thought it was interesting. It's just like, okay, well, we just raised the minimum wage, for the past 5 years or so, from 12 up to 15 and now 16, and then we're going up further. And I know that they mentioned it's going to continue to go. But so he's talking about fast food workers, right? And so, same thing Lisa was saying. It's just like with consumers trying to purchase things, back in the day, right? You could buy a burger for 39 cents at McDonald's. Now, granted, this was when I was a kid. That was 20 years ago. A lot of things have changed, but just in the last couple of years, those prices have gone up. And then when you go to the store and you try to buy all these other things, I mean, there's been a lot of reasons why these prices have changed, and COVID obviously affected a lot of that.
It's crazy. It's crazy you say that
crazy.
because me and my wife was talking, right? We're like adding prices and trying to penny pinch and adding everything up. We're like, gosh, it costs just as much to go buy a grocery and make myself something versus me just going to a store and buying something that's already made.
Yeah.
Plus, I don't have to clean up. Plus, I don't waste all the overage on the grocery that I bought. Now it goes bad. I throw it out. I wasted it. I had to go back and buy it again because they don't just sell it one by one. They sell it in like portions, So we were just talking about, we're like, man, screw this. Like, we don't need to go grocery no more. We just buy something from the store that's already ready. If you want a burger, just go buy a burger instead of trying to make our own burger because it costs just as much, if not more now. It's so crazy, right? And
even some of these places that prepare the meals for you, they're cheap. That they're not like when you think about it. Fast food or getting stuff at a restaurant is pretty expensive. But like when you go to these places like Fit Eats and that Factor, the prices they're already prepared for you, and you just stick it in your microwave, or prepare a few things in your oven, and then you're done. Whereas opposed to you buying all that stuff and picking it all out just
Yeah.
right, and then spending hours making dinner and all this other stuff, it's
Yeah.
crazy. It's just crazy.
Yeah, the seasoning, like
Mhm.
now my sriracha sauce super expensive too, like things like that, So like you start adding all that up, and you're like, oh my gosh, like I don't even want to eat this meal anymore. I just want to put this meal in my saving account, put it
See,
on a
that's
little
the
picture frame.
See, here's the thing. That's the light of it, guys. But in the truth and reality of it, let's just talk about how that affects our business, right? How it
Yeah,
affects
our
the real.
industry.
And here's the thing: people who have budgeted and bought this home, and especially if you're kind of close to the cusp, and right there, right now. And usually, right, because you're a working parent, you come home, you get your kids dinner at a fast food joint or any restaurant of that matter. Now, instead of it being $5 a kid, it's now $10, $15 a kid. So the budget doesn't work as well, and you're forced to have to
Mm-mm.
be creative and do something different. So here's where the pickle that I'm seeing that people who are in the middle class area, they're gonna be like, okay, it's costing me more in groceries. Okay, I can't decrease my mortgage. I can't do any of this stuff. I don't have room. I got 4 kids, so I don't have space to actually rent out. And we need the garage space for X, Y, and Z, right? So they're either going to be forced to sell, even if they don't want to, and deal with the fact that, okay, we're going to have to go into another city, buy and sell to another city, or possibly face losing our house in total. It's a terrible thing to think about. And I'm not here to spread fear or anything like that, but do think of all that budgeting, guys, first before that actually happens, is what I'm saying. I'd like for you guys to just take a look at that situation and understand that raising minimum wage makes it so much more difficult for people who are already currently homeowners to budget for their family, right? Now, the other pickle is, let's just say, hey, you're in a good state and everything like that, but you want to upgrade, but why is inventory not going up? Because people who already own homes are like, okay, I can still afford this for now and everything like that, right? We're just going to remodel our house. We're just going to clean up our yard. We're just going to do this. We're not going to upgrade anymore. We're not going to sell our house. And even
Or
if they go upgrade, they're utilizing whatever rent money that they can, because they already got an affordable mortgage and everything like that, to offset the higher mortgage, to offset the fact that goods are going to be more expensive. So again, we're going to be in this trickle for a while, guys.
here we go, $6.99 for a Whopper, large fries, and large Coke at Burger King with the app. Can't beat that. I don't like Whoppers though, man.
And that's a
No,
sad part, because
you
it's
make
six
a
ninety
you make
nine
a
for Henry. It's probably $6.99 for a salad too.
Yeah, and you make a really good point. That's the scary thing about it is that the more and more people that are forced, out of being able to buy homes, or being forced out of owning their own home, they're going to be the ones that end up, living out of their car, or going to buy, an RV and living out on one of these streets that's just not good. So it's really unfortunate where this is going. Obviously, you think, okay, well, minimum wage is $20, and that's going to make everything better for everyone, but it's really not, though. I mean, what is that really solving in the end? And then you have, I think it was Stephen mentioned it earlier, right? It's like, okay, well, you have somebody that spent years at college, and all this money, and they're making a certain wage because that's what the wage is set to be for that particular trade. And then you got somebody that's just coming in as a starting person with no experience, making just a small fraction less than what those experienced people are making, that spent all that time in college and spent all that money doing that
It's
in a field that
pointless
is
now.
way, yeah, it's
Right.
crazy. So I just, okay, again, I don't want to age myself, but it's gone up crazy in the last 20 years, right? Minimum wage was $6.25 when I was 18, and now it's about to be $20. That's
What year
insane.
was
That's
that?
crazy. That was 1998.
I'm just messing with you. It's you guys are talking about all the domino effects, right? And
Yeah.
we forgot to talk about the tenants, the people that are renting. It's gonna affect them like crazy. Because guess what? When the mortgage goes up because of the taxes and everything, the landlord is gonna have to increase rent. And
Correct.
if they increase rent, if you can't afford it, you're gonna be living in the streets now, doing what Charles was saying, getting an RV or downgrading or moving in with friends and family, for the time being. Like, did you guys hear about that lady? She's a veteran on the news. I forgot where, but she got kicked out of her home and now she's homeless because she couldn't afford her rent anymore because rent went up due to
That's
due to
th-
due to everything around her going up, gas, groceries, energy, and she didn't have enough to pay for rent anymore, so she's in the streets right now, and it was on the news.
I mean, I don't know if you guys have visited San Francisco. I think I spoke about this a while ago on one of the shows, but I'll reiterate it again. I had out of town guests coming in from my brother's wedding, so we took them to San Francisco, and I kid you not, Chinatown was just not the same Chinatown that I grew up with. It was dirty. It was
Oh
dingy.
my
A lot of the business
gosh.
were so shut down. Our favorite bakery completely shut down, and I don't even know where it came from, but there was a tumbleweed in the middle of Chinatown. I was like, how does that happen? It's
I
that
know.
quiet, that silent.
It's
And
crazy.
when we were there, we actually were staying at the Hyatt, which is not a terrible
Mm,
hotel, guys. It was actually a pretty nice hotel. On the line of that street, I saw gallons of milk on the outside of the car. I was like, what is this new thing? Is this a new hack that's going on? And as I'm looking in the cars, I'm seeing clothes, on top of the windows and everything like that. People were living in the
yeah,
cars right
yeah.
there. And that's what you were
Hmm.
mentioning earlier, Charles, because even though they're working, and that happened in Hawaii too, there is a homeless community where these people actually have work. They just don't have enough to
Yep.
afford the housing in Hawaii. So now that we're coming into California, you guys already saw, Chia, you spoke about that the last time. There is a affordable housing and a homeless camp that's going to be built in my neighborhood too, guys. Okay.
Oh yeah,
And yeah, I had to go to town
Elk
hall for that.
Grove.
Yep, in Elk
Oh
Grove.
wow.
And when people were talking about the last show that you were talking about, how like it was like, hey, it's in my backyard, it's in everything. And again, I have a very, very soft spot for that. It's just it has to be in a facility where people actually have the help that they need, right? This facility was supposed to be built in my backyard, which means it's right next to a person that actually has a residence. It's a very, very,
Mm,
very small complex right across the street from a Rite Aid. Okay. And in my town, there's not very many things that we have. We have a Bel Air that's going to pull out. But anyway, because of what's going on right now, that is the trickle effect. That is the domino effect that's going to happen. And it's great. You're going to get a temporary surge of minimum wage going up. But guys, the mom and pop shops cannot survive this. They cannot afford to hire that. Then what's going to happen? The big conglomerate corporates are going to monopolize that. They're going to
yep.
monopolize that. They're going to switch it out, and they're going to have more self checkout. They're going to have more robots. You guys are already
Yep.
seeing that. It
Hmm.
works really well. Your kids love it. I mean, these robots are singing happy birthday to you in a restaurant, right? It's all fun and dandy now. But when
Creepy,
people,
man. They try to get my dirty dishes to go and wash
right?
at this one
Like
restaurant.
it's to the point where the kids that my friends' kids, where we go out to them, they don't want a waitress anymore. They want to see the robot. So
Yep.
think about that, guys. It's going to be like that for the next few years. A decade from now, it's all those jobs, all those minimum jobs that are raising, it's temporary.
It's crazy that you mentioned the SF. My daughter hasn't been to SF for a long time, right? And she went with her dancing crew a while back, and she's like, "Dad, I was so excited, but when I got there, I miss home so much. I want to come home right away because it was so bad. Like,
Yeah.
she was exposed to like people doing drugs on the streets, all of
Yeah.
that, and then she's like, why is that even allowed? Like, we're walking there just trying to enjoy the like ourselves and the views and all that, and all that's happening around us. Like, I feel so bad for them, like it's like, and she's like 15,
Yeah.
so it's just, yeah, it's crazy, man. Steven goes, minimum wage goes up to compensate for higher rent. Man, it's not even enough to compensate for rent. Do you? Because think about this: minimum wage goes up like what, $5, right? And everything around them is going up already, so it doesn't even make up for everything that's gone up. They're still
Right.
gonna come up short at the end of the month, you know.
Right. Right.
And some places that have rent control, man, that's even, whew, yeah. oh, that's gonna be another topic for another day. Rent control. But I had a lot of fun today. Too bad we're
did too.
over. Like I don't wanna take too much time from everybody. But then I think this was a good topic. We got a lot of you guys asking questions. And engaging. I love this. But yeah, I think I always like to be optimistic. I think everything's gonna work itself out, right? Hopefully, like to the people that have been thinking about owning a home, you could shield yourself from a lot of this. Like let's say you can't pay rent. If you can't make your own mortgage payments, if you're in a state like California, they're really like they don't want you to lose your home, right? So they have a lot of programs to help you catch up, maybe modify your mortgage or do something to where you until you get back on your feet. Like, and then during that time, you could probably utilize renting one of your rooms out, Airbnb one of your room out, or doing something creative, right? Like what Henry was saying earlier, to make up the difference in a little bit extra income to be able to pay your mortgage. But if you're a tenant, it's kind of hard because your only person that you're talking to about housing is gonna be the landlord,
Right.
and they already have so much over their heads that they're thinking about too. So if you're in that position, like call somebody and just talk to them to see what your situation's like. So that way you can shield yourself from crazy, like unstoppable things like inflation going up. Yeah, things like that. All
Right.
right. Oh, Henry says, I'm going to answer all these comments and then we're going to close out. Okay, you guys? Appreciate you guys again. I'm stuck with a 2-unit rent control property in LA. One is paying $700 a month for a 3-bedroom, and the other is paying $800 for a 2-bedroom. Can't do anything. I inherited the property. 700 and 800 in LA?
That's low.
That's
That's
very
really
low.
That's
it's because
really low.
the rent control. But I guess for Henry, because he inherited the property, this might be a really good property to sell and do a 1031 exchange, because you talk about creative
Hopefully,
finance.
when you inherited, you didn't pay capital gains, and hopefully, whoever that gave it to you, put it under a trust.
Heard about that too. Yeah.
I want to ask Charles if he's ever been in danger during the home inspection. What do you mean in danger? Like
Well,
rats?
he's yeah. I mean, that's not even danger. I mean, it all depends on what you mean, right? But the funny thing about that is the only time that I've ever been in any kind of quote unquote danger was I had a really irate tenant, in a property that basically just flipped out that I was there. So I knocked on his door, and I did knock really really hard, and he came out and he was like yelling at me and cursing through the door, and then he came out and he got in my face. And he was like screaming at me, talking about, and the thing about it is I had another inspector that had went there previous, so I kind of knew what I was expecting. But when he came to the door, it was still surprising, So basically, I think he was just a little upset, but it wasn't anything crazy like that. But no, I mean, like, we've had like squatters, in the place and all this other stuff, but nothing really too crazy, I mean,
Because you're a big dude, so
well,
you really look intimidating.
I feel like that. I really feel like that might be part of it. Honestly, and people don't really kind of mess with me, but it's most of the time the houses are the occupants, they know what's going on. Usually when they don't, it's when it's a tenant and seller situation, and the seller just really isn't trying to let their tenant know anything, and that's when we end up in dicey situations. And you never know what you're going to get, because people get really upset, especially when you're like, why are you here inspecting? Inspecting means selling. What's going on? Am I going to get kicked out? And then they start to ask questions, and you got to remain neutral. But yeah, really, as far as safety-wise, I really haven't been in too much of anything too crazy.
Charles, if I did not know you personally, I would be intimidated by looking at you too. Like, I see you're a big dude, and I'm like, holy moly, I'm not really that tall and big too myself, but then just because I know you, and it's like, oh, you're just a big teddy bear,
Yeah, but and I get that. I definitely have gotten that before too. But yeah, I'm a nice guy. I ain't no one to be scared about it.
Steven, you're hella funny, dude. I might buy Henry's place. y'all can y'all can structure a deal between them amongst you two.
Exactly.
Henry says it was under a life estate. Okay, okay. Good for you, man. Lucky you. That's probably hopefully the 700 and the 800 it's covering for your mortgage. Hopefully you
Right.
haven't refinanced and taken anything out. So all right, y'all. I'm gonna close it out. We're a little bit over. Have a good night. Thank you again. It was fun today. We'll see you guys next time. All right. Peace out. Share this video, like this video if you guys haven't done that yet. We love you guys. Good night. Peace.